All Blacks against South Africa in Pool B. This is the game that a lot of you guys have been asking about. How is this one going to go, man? This one is a huge game. In terms of Pool B, these two teams are the absolute favourites. Everyone else is not really given a shot against these two titans of World Rugby. And this game, in all likelihood, decides who goes through on the winning side of the draw and who goes through as the runner-up, who potentially plays Ireland in a quarterfinal, who goes on to play perhaps Scotland or Japan. All that's still yet to be decided. Could be anyone, really. But yeah, which team is going to go through top? Or are we going to have another draw? With these guys of late, you really do never know. I like to look at the last 5 results when I do these previews, and you can see the last 5 is All Blacks 3, Springboks 1 with a draw in there as well for good measure. But I think with the Springboks side, you do need to tweak this recent look. And if you look at it under Rassie Erasmus, that shifts to 1 win for the All Blacks, 1 win for the Springboks, and 1 draw. So it is dead even. And it gets even more even, because if you look at these 5 results, the average score is 33-21 to the All Blacks. But remember, that includes that 57-0 drubbing back under Alistair Coetzee on the North Shore of Auckland. So that is the oldest of the 5 results. So it seems like an absolute lifetime ago now. If you look at the time under Rassie, it's an average of New Zealand 27, South Africa 27. So there's absolutely nothing between these two teams since he's taken over. And there's a wee bit of mind games going on. I've seen quotes from Rassie about the All Blacks and the refs and whatnot. Steve Hansen's been hitting back, so it's all on even before the game starts. So it is going to be a huge one. Pool A fans will definitely be watching this game carefully as well, because again, if you're Scotland, Ireland, Japan, Samoa as well, you got to be wondering who you're going to face if you do manage to get out of that pool. So yeah, I'll put the teams in the description so you guys can have a look. There are some interesting selections. I'll start with the All Blacks. The question was kind of, are they going to play Beauden Barrett at 10 or at 15? The answer for that one is at 15. So Richie Mo'unga starts at 10. So it's that dual playmaker combo which the All Blacks are going with, and they must see that as their key to getting a 3rd Rugby World Cup in a row. But yeah, a lot of people would argue you go Ben Smith at fullback and Beauden Barrett at 15, kind of that traditional model which has worked for such a long time. But other people would say, they need to try what they've been practicing and see how it goes. So yeah, that's 15 and that's 10. In terms of number 9, it's Aaron Smith, so he's a pretty old hand at that number 9 jersey, but maybe not so much with Richie Mo'unga, but both class players, so should do a pretty good job. The midfield is Crotty and Anton Lienert-Brown, so there's no good hue for this game. Sonny Bill Williams is covering from the bench. There were erroneous reports here in the New Zealand media saying, look, he's going to be sent home and Nani Laumape will be going over to replace him. No such luck if you're not a Sonny Bill fan. He's fit and raring to go, even if it's just from the bench as an impact player. Where those rumours came from, maybe from the fact that apparently he had a bandage on his leg. We will see if there's any more details coming out in that story. George Bridge and Sevu Reece on the wings, so they are going with recent form. And Steve Hansen pretty much said that in his press conference as well, that these guys have been playing better. So Rico Ioane is not in the match day 23. Ben Smith has to ride the pine for this one, so there's certainly some experience with him and Sonny Bill, both being the wrong side of 30. The rest of the team, forwards, obviously Kieran Reid still captain at number 8, Sam Cane is at 7, and Ardie Savea is at 6. So continuing this theme of the Wallabies are doing it as well, kind of shifting around players to maybe move away from that big bulky number 6 to go for someone a bit more mobile. Maybe in Japan's heat, that's going to be beneficial. We'll see, but certainly the breakdown, these guys should be putting on a lot of pressure. Scott Barrett and Sam Whitelock in the second row. There's no Brody Retallick. He is still out injured, so it's those guys. Laulala, Coles, and Moody start in the front row. There's going to be a lot of pressure on Moody because his scrummaging has not been at an elite level this year, that is for sure. Taylor, Tuungafasi, Ta'avao are the front row replacements. Tuipulotu, Frizell, who wasn't even in the World Cup squad, World Squad apparently, a few weeks ago, is now in, and he is on the bench for this one. Perenara alongside Sonny Bill and Ben Smith, like I mentioned. So that's the All Blacks team. For the Springboks, like the All Blacks, most of the positions you feel like were pretty much set in stone, with a few ums and a few maybes. Kitsoff, Marks, and Malherbe are the front row, and Malherbe hasn't been, kind of like Moody, he hasn't been at that level that we know he can hit. He's a hell of a scrummager, but recently he hasn't been as dominant as Inyakani in that area, so he's going to have to really up his game, because Malherbe is that guy that really relies on his scrummaging to get him on the team. Everything else is fine, but not that great. He's not a massive ball carrier, and he's not the guy to get a whole heap of tackles like a Pieter-Steph du Toit kind of character either. So, yeah, we'll see how he goes. Etzebeth and Mostert are in the second row, and that's a very impressive looking second row as well. Mostert and Marks, I've mentioned it dozens of times, their combo with the line-out call and throw seem to go better when they're both on the field at the same time. Kolisi, Pieter-Steph du Toit, and Vermeulen are 6, 7, and 8. I guess we'll see Vermeulen taking more restarts and see how much action he gets there. Kolisi back fit now, back to his dynamic best as well, and Pieter-Steph, expect him to just tackle the house down if the All Blacks are in lots of possession. Faf de Klerk, how's he going to go with his box kicks? You never know with that guy. Sometimes he is on song, got the ball on a string, and is able to just control the game. Other times they just seem a bit wayward, and then the Springboks just seem to surrender possession, so that's a big question mark. Andre Pollard, I think most people would say is one of the best 10s in the world. He will definitely punish any penalties given away by the All Blacks in this one, and with ball in hand, he's definitely a danger as well. Dealende and are the midfield, and that was probably one of the biggest question marks about the Springbok squad, is how they would line up in the midfield. But Rassie does seem to like this Dealende and combo. So it means that Jesse Creel and Stain are both on the bench as potential midfield replacements. Between those two guys, you can cover pretty much the whole back line. Kolbe and Mapimpi are the wings. I think a lot of us would have loved to see Nkosi play, but they've gone with Mapimpi. Yeah. I don't not like Mapimpi, but I just would have gone Nkosi myself. But Rassie certainly knows a lot more than I do. And Roux, who's going to have a fair bit of pressure on him, because he, like Ben Smith, is that old hand who's not been in the best form, is picked at 15. Mbonambi, Mtawira, and Inyakani on the bench. I think they could add a lot of impact when they come on. Snyman is just top class as well. He's another one of those locks that just has those hands of a number 10. Francois Lowe, when he comes on, the breakdown is going to be another level up for the All Blacks, so they'll have to be very wary of him coming on. Herschel Yankees, just as a try-scoring machine when he plays, apparently. Good story for that guy to come through and get a World Cup cap. And as I said, Francois Stain and Jesse Creel. So yeah, man, this is going to be an epic one. The bookies have got New Zealand by 6 points. Rugby forecast, the algorithm has gone slightly more bold and gone New Zealand by 10. So either way, a try or 2 tries, both being picked to New Zealand. Yeah, it's going to be a huge one, man. What do you guys think of this one? Any selection issues you think, or do you think both the coaches have pretty much got this right? Do you think that Rassie has kind of worked out the All Blacks? Because that record he's got is a very impressive one, which not many teams can hold the All Blacks to. Do you think the All Blacks move with the dual playmakers and picking these inform wingers is going to pay off? More mobile with Ardie Savea there at 6. But yeah, you guys let me know your thoughts, and I will talk to you again soon. See you later.